Hey y'all, so I'm coming at you back with another car chat. And in this one, I'm going to be talking about the topic of serious relationships, dating, and I wanted to just kind of get y'all thoughts. I'm like, let me get from around here first. I just dropped off my giveaway winners prize and somebody got pulled over right outside the post office. I'm like, let me get to where I need to go and get away from this so that I'm not next, because I don't want to be next. I'm gonna hit this Yui and come up here. I don't know what they was doing because I wasn't paying attention to all that. I was just paying attention to my rear view because I was finna back out and I saw them get pulled over. But anyway, I'm in a couple of groups on Facebook, and one of them is a group that's like for women that are married or preparing to get married. And this topic came up, and the topic was basically this girl asking for advice because her significant other is not contributing half of what the expenses are in their home. And she was basically feeling frustrated and was saying that she thinks she wants to end the relationship. Now, she did say that her significant other lost their job during the pandemic and that he got one now and he's contributing $600, but she's contributing $1,300. So, as a clarification question, I asked, well, how much does he bring home? You know, because if he's working a job and he only bringing home $900 a month, but he's giving you $600, to me, that shows good character, because he's basically only giving himself enough for gas and groceries, and pretty much that's it. But if he's bringing home double what he's giving you, then he could probably go up a little bit in the area of compromise so that y'all can kind of be more of a 50-50. Now, there's women in the group, they like, nah, you need to leave him, sis. You need to leave him, sis. He not doing nothing. He acting like a child. He acting like a child. You don't need to be with him. And I'm not seeing anybody say, like, trying to work with him. So, without knowing the full situation, I decided to make a video, talk to y'all about it, and ask y'all what y'all think. But I must lead by saying this. I think it is very important to have conversations about what you desire in your relationships early on. I think it's very important to have these discussions early, because if you do not have the discussions early and you really do desire a guy that's gonna like foot the bill and pay all the bills, you know, if you desire to be a housewife and you do not want to pay bills, you do not want to work, you need to communicate that when you're dating these men. If you're the type of person that does not want to be a housewife, you don't want kids, you have kids, you don't want more kids, communicate that. I think that it's very important to be open and honest. And I think even as a man, it's important to be open and honest when you're dating a woman. If you financially cannot handle your own expenses, by yourself, you living with your parents, you barely can keep your ends afloat or whatever, you may want to reconsider dating a woman, because a lot of women do not want to go 50-50 with men. There are some women that are willing to do it. I'm one of those women. But there's a lot of women that do not want to go 50-50 with men. When they're looking at social media and celebrities and what they're seeing on TV, what's glamorized is being taken care of. You know, BBLs and going on trips to Dubai and having this lavish lifestyle. You are not seeing like 50-50 partnerships glorified. You're not seeing somebody holding somebody down being glorified, except when you see somebody getting locked up and they're trying to tell women of color to wait for this guy that got locked up. You're not seeing, you know, there's like, so let me rewind it back. There's the Keisha Kaur and the Gucci example, but that's not a common example. A lot of folks are telling you to get with rich men. And if he's broke, you don't want nothing to do with him. And I'm here to tell you that if you have a guy that is faithful, that is like respectful, he treats you well, you like him, he likes you, he is really trying. He's not a bumming type person that's sitting around, that's not trying to make better of themselves, that's just making excuses but not making any progress. I would highly, highly, highly recommend reconsidering getting rid of him because he can't financially provide for you completely. If this man is willing to give and contribute what he can give, then I think that that's good. I don't think that you should leave a man because he can't pay all your expenses. The man is not your daddy. Now, there's some women, different cultures, even people that are same culture as me, that would disagree completely. And that's what, to that, I say do what works for your household. Now, you have to be realistic. Like, if you're the breadwinner, you make more money, you cannot get mad if your significant other cannot treat you to things. If you settle for somebody who does not make as much as you make, it's not possible. They can save up and do nice things for you, and they should. But do not get upset if they can't financially do all the things that you can do for yourself because their salary is just not there. Some men and women are not meant for you to get into a serious relationship with. That's something that I wish that I would have really learned early on, because once you settle into a relationship with the wrong person, it's not to say that you can't leave. And I don't mean whether you're like been together for some years and y'all just boyfriend and girlfriend, been together for some years and you're, fiance, you married, you can always make a change if you're not happy. It may not be easy, but life is hard. And people always say, choose your hard. You can choose to be in an unhappy, unfulfilled relationship. You can choose to work through the issues that y'all have created over the time that y'all have been together. Or you can choose to leave and go through that healing process. All of those things are hard, but you just got to choose your hard. Everybody that you talk to is not meant to be with you forever. Some people are just in your life for a season. And, sometimes after getting out of a bad relationship, you meet somebody and they're good and you think that they're going to be your Prince Charming or your princess. And then they are kind of cut from the same cloth as your last relationship. Unfortunately, it may be a test. It may be a lesson to show you. Sometimes after a bad relationship, God just sends someone so that you can see that better exists. It does not mean that that person is supposed to be your husband, your wife. It just means that, hey, better exists. Here's a sign that better exists. Don't feel like you got to settle. But the point that I was trying to get to before that one is just that it's important to basically understand what is a negotiable and what's not a negotiable. As a woman, if you know that you want to be taken care of, you do not want to work, then do not settle for someone that does not make money, that does not have a hustle, that does not want more than the bare minimum that it takes to cover their own expenses, because that man will not be able to take care of you. If you're a person that likes independence, doesn't necessarily like people to be all up on you, questioning you, you like the type of sign that needs your own space, then you may not want to settle down with a traditional Christian man or, certain cultured Christian men that like to have reins on their women. They provide, but they don't have feelings. They don't care about what you think. They want you to be seen and not heard. But understand that if you want money, he can put it in your hand, but you don't have an opinion because he's the man in the house. You have to decide what type of person you want to be with, and don't go against what you're saying that you want. Same thing applies for men. A lot of these women want a man that can take care of them, and they may not have nothing to offer. So don't settle down with a woman that only wants you for your money. Because if stuff gets hard, life can get hard, you need a woman that's going to be able to hold it down and do more than just go get her nails done and go on vacation. You're going to need somebody who's going to be able to work and have some skills that can make some money should anything ever happen to you. You need a woman that's wise enough to put money away for emergencies. You need a woman that's wise enough to think about those times where things can and will go wrong. You can't just have a woman that's like, hey, I'm gonna take his car to the bar with all my friends. Like, it's balanced. And there's nothing wrong with being a woman that doesn't want a man to just take care of them. I've been raised to be independent. I do feel like a lot of women are raised to be independent, and I can't say that a lot of men that I know are raised to be independent. There are some that are very independent and not dependent on women, and to me, I find that so attractive because there's a lot of women out here that end up with men that are not that way. And like, I don't know if it's because they grew up seeing their moms work really hard and make ends meet without the help of their dads, without the help of a man, period, and they made it happen, whether they had to work 2 or 3 jobs, whether they had to do some things on the side, you know, selling plates or whatever to make it happen for their kids, that, you know, when they get grown, they think that that's how their significant others are going to be, like a version of their mom. I'm not really sure why that is or if that's the case, but I just hope that when my son grows up, he is able to learn from me to be independent and to be smart and to not be dependent on anyone. God, of course, but not any woman or any man of any kind. You know, I want him to be independent. And I just think that those conversations are very important. So to go back to what I saw on Facebook, I think that in this situation, she's in a similar situation that I'm in. She went and bought this place and she moved her boyfriend in. Boyfriend lost a job and her boyfriend is now rebuilding. So she's probably comparing herself to others. She probably got people in her ear bashing her boyfriend from when he didn't have a job, and she's now feeling like she's settled and she's not happy. But I encouraged her to just look at the big picture. I'm not saying stay in a relationship and settle and he gonna be giving you $600 forever, but look at his character. Like, you know, did he get that job by applying consistently, making ends meet, doing what he had to do, and he's giving you $600 because he's rebuilding? He was broke. When somebody loses their job, they go through a stage of like brokenness and like exhausting all their savings. So there is a rebuilding process in that. I'm not saying he shouldn't have started giving anything. Of course he should, because you can't go anywhere and live for free except your mama's house, and a lot of people's mamas charge. So I'm not saying that he shouldn't give anything because he's rebuilding. I'm just saying he's trying to be a good partner and contribute and build himself at the same time. And so give him that time to do it. And then once he starts to get to a more stable place, yeah, increase what you're giving, because it needs to be more even. It shouldn't be like less than. But to be honest, y'all, like in relationships, especially marriages and serious relationships, sometimes it's not going to be 50-50. Sometimes it might be 70-40. Wait, that's not the right math. Sometimes it might be 70-30. Sometimes it might be 60-40. But if that person is really trying and you love them, and it's just a season, it's not just the way things are going to be for 20 years. You know, we're not trying to put that over your life, but just a season, then I say you go for it. You can't just be in love when they're buying you everything, they paying all the bills, they giving you the dope D, and that's it. You have to be able to love them through the difficult seasons as well. And honestly, a lot of women may not agree, but your money should still be your money, so that if something happens to your significant other, you're not SOL. You don't need to ever be in a situation where your man makes all the money, has all the stuff in his name, and you don't have anything to show for it except his kids. Because if he leaves you, you're going to be left with nothing. You can take half, but how are you going to maintain what you get if you're not working? So that's why I don't believe in not contributing anything, or at least having some sort of plan. Like, it's some women that'll say, well, his money is our money and my money is my money. But just make sure you saving with that mindset. Don't be sitting here spending thousands of dollars a month on all this different stuff and you don't have any money to show in a case of an emergency. That's just not wise. And honestly, if you were on your own, yeah, you'd have to do it by yourself. So you should not be in a situation where you're doing it all by yourself when you're with a man. That, I'm not gonna lie, that's what bothered me in my relationships. Ships, plural, because I've been in more than one serious relationship. I felt like I was always the one pulling the weight. And I just, resentment builds from that. And if you're getting to a point where you're feeling resentment towards your partner, that's no bueno, because then you start to feel less attracted to him. You start to kind of look down at him instead of looking up to him or like equally with him, because you start feeling like, he's not doing. And if you're listening to a lot of people that don't agree with your situation, it makes you feel worse. It makes you feel like, dang, my man ain't doing this, and my friend said her man does that. And let me tell you, a lot of folks be lying. A lot of folks be cap. Talk about their situations. Do not compare yourself to others. If you were genuinely happy with that person is faithful, they are good to you and how they treat you, and they are genuinely trying, I would say don't throw it all away because you're not getting the facade of him doing it all by himself. Think about your man's feelings too. Like, your man matters. Your man's feelings matter, and he shouldn't have to do it all, just like you shouldn't have to do it all. And just, when he has it, that's like, pay attention to character things. When he has the money, if he puts it in your hand, that's a good sign. When he has extra, he do something nice for you, that's a good sign. When he gets money, if he's selfish with it and make excuses, then we got some splaining to do. Maybe you do need to leave the relationship. All I'm saying is, you're going to go through seasons when it comes to serious relationships. There's going to be times where you feel like you're not getting everything you want. And honestly, getting everything you want in a relationship is not realistic. I'm just being real with you. It's not realistic. Relationships are not supposed to be like all about you. If that's what you want, then you may want to be by yourself, because that other person on the other side of the relationship has needs and wants too. And as a woman, we have so much more to offer than our vaginas. So don't be a woman that only offers beauty to a man, because beauty can fade. One pregnancy and your body might be unrecognizable, sis. So I'm just saying, like, you have to be of good substance, whether it be with brain, business savvy, a little mixture. And just know that relationships come with compromise. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts about this topic. Let me know if you'd like to do more of these real talks in the car with me. And I'll see y'all in my next video. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe.